That's a big messianic prophecy among the Dead Sea Scrolls. And I treat it in my book. It's called the Shiloh prophecy, and it's very, very important prophecy for the messianic king ideology. You can see why. Scepter shall not pass from Judah, nor the mace from between his feet. And then we have the whole thing about the ass, and colt, and all the material of Jesus going up to Jerusalem with the ass and the colt, and there's going to be a donkey tied out of one. It all goes back to this kind of material and some other material in Zechariah that they're drawing from to create that material about Jesus, or that they read into the material about Jesus, whatever you prefer to see it as. Zebulun, he lives up by Phoenicia and Sidon, and he's like this Phoenicians, line 13. Issachar, you know, he has to work hard, but he's going to become a slave to who? The Canaanites, basically. He'll be forced to do forced labor by the neighbors, the Canaanites. Dan, because Dan means to judge, no one knows what this means. They say, oh, well, Dan, you know, he's a viper on the path. He's a guerrilla war fighter. People have interpreted it, but no one knows what that particular prophecy really means. Yeah, the others aren't getting much. Gad, something about being robbed, because the name has something to do with that. Asher, being rich, he provides a lot of food. Naphtali, something to do with lawns, and we had that earlier. So, not much else. Now here's Joseph. He gets a good blessing. 22, be a fruitful creeper near the spring, nice plant. You can read it yourselves. A lot of blessings here. 22 to 27. 27, Benjamin, you're a ravening wolf, you devour your prey. That's it, not much there. I don't know whose blessing this is. Sounds, I'm not sure, it looks like a Judean blessing to me, but I don't know. That's what it sounds like to me. What does he say? The boss. 49, 2 through 27. Anyway, it looks to me like it's a Yahweh because Judah gets the best blessing there. Anyway.
Priestly.
Priestly. No, okay. Okay, I see you like his book, huh? You took
no,
it.
there's just like there's a chart in the back.
Ah, there's a chart. Okay. Okay, you got it all in the back now. So that's a good book then, huh? Helpful. Okay, so then he's buried in the field of Ephraim the Hittite in the cave at Machpelah, line 30. And anybody wants to argue about the Stephen passage, show them this passage. In the land of Canaan, which Abraham bought from Ephraim the Hittite in a burial plot, and there Abraham was buried, and Sarah, and Isaac, and Rebekah, and Leah, and I'm going to be buried there too. So those are the 6 patriarchs, and those tombs are there to this day. You can see them. Different rooms, 2 tombs in each room, and they're labeled. Jacob and Leah, Abraham and Sarah, and Isaac and Rebekah. And in fact, Joseph is not there, just like it says here, and neither is Rachel. And they have separate tombs. Joseph is in Shechem. And so he dies, and they embalm him, line 3 of 50 in the Egyptian way, and they mourn for him 70 days. And he went to bury him as his father said. And his sons carried him, line 13, to the land of Canaan, and buried him in the cave of the field of Machpelah. I'm going to just compare this once again with this, just so we're sure. I don't want to rub this into anybody, but it's good now that we have it right before us to see if this is, let's see, Acts 7. When Jacob heard that there was grain for sale in Egypt, he sent our ancestors there on a visit. But it was the second that Joseph made himself known to his brothers and told Pharaoh about the family. Joseph then sent father Jacob and the whole family, told 75 people. Jacob went down to Egypt, and after he and our ancestors died there, the bodies were brought back to Shechem and buried in the tomb that Abraham had bought and paid for from the sons of Hamor, the father of Shechem. Well, that's totally not the tradition that we have in this book. Maybe that's a Samaritan tradition. Now, I will show you where I think he got that from. Just to be quick, and I'll go back and finish, we have a little time here. So in the book of Joshua, when Joshua was about to die, at the very end of the book, Joshua gives a farewell speech, 24. Joshua gathered all the tribes together at Shechem. And they present themselves to God. Now I think the whole Stephen speech is ripped off from here, starting in 24:2. You know where the God of Israel says, in ancient days your ancestors lived beyond the river, such was Terah, and I increased, and Jacob and his sons went down into Egypt, and so on. So basically it's more or less ripped off, but it's not as detailed, but this is what Joshua is basically saying. More or less the same speech that Stephen is pictured as making. And then when he's all done with this speech, he died. And he wrote these words down, and they buried him on his estate, line 30, and then 32, right after this speech. The bones of Joseph, which the sons of Israel had bought from Egypt, were buried at Shechem in the portion of ground that Jacob had bought for 100 pieces of money from the sons of Hamor, the father of Shechem, which became the inheritance of the sons of Joseph, then Eliezer, son, and so on and so on. So to my mind, the author of Acts, in ripping off the Joshua speech and putting it into Stephen's mouth, has too quickly read the last part of the chapter about the sons of Hamor and Jacob and where Joseph was buried, and thought he was talking about Abraham and where the descendants of Abraham were buried. You got it? Hey man, we're as smart as they over the book of Acts. How smart can you get? Hey, you can get pretty smart, you see. Who are we to stand up against ancient authors? Well, we can do it. We can do it. Just, we don't have to be a big scholar. You have to read the book there sometime. Anyway, that only passes muster, but see, that passes muster among all Jews and Christians. Why? Christians don't look carefully at the source of that speech. They just like what it's about. Jews don't even look at it, and they don't even know about it, so they don't even have an idea that there's a problem, because they never look at the material. And that just leaves us here in this class. About a minority of about 15 people in a universe of 200 million or something. Don't tell your minister about this one, because he doesn't have an answer for it, I can assure you. And he won't be happy that you pointed out to him. You're now going to do it, I can see your face. No, don't do it. I don't want you to do it. This is not, his job is not to look for, cracks. His job is to bind the community together in a happy, harmonious flock. You understand? So he's not to, he can't answer this anymore.